A Manhattan woman is behind bars after being arrested on several arson charges on Wednesday morning. 29-year-old Nessa Sims was arrested just after 9 a.m. in the 1100 block of Raton Street on 2 counts of both arson and aggravated arson. She's being held on a $75,000 bond and was still confined within the Riley County Jail as of this report. Meanwhile, a 25-year-old Louisville woman is jailed in Riley County after being arrested Wednesday evening on assault and robbery charges. Christiana Hill was arrested around 5:15 p.m. on charges of aggravated assault and robbery, both with the use of the deadly weapon. Hill has a lengthy criminal history, which includes several other arrests, including possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute, interference with a law enforcement officer, aggravated endangerment of a child, and multiple probation violations. She was arrested along with 2 others in August of 2022 after RCPD uncovered a significant amount of meth while conducting a search warrant in the 1300 block of Colorado Street in Manhattan. Hill is being currently held on a bond of $75,000 and was still confined in the Riley County Jail as of this report. The Junction City Commission this week considered establishing the city's government's own website as the city newspaper to avoid paying for the publication of legal notices. 3 commissioners, Pat Landis, Jeff Underhill, and Ronna Larson, expressed support for the idea and asked City Attorney Britton Stitz to provide more information on website visits and how much the city government would save by doing it. Currently, the Junction City Union is the official city newspaper. Stitz said the city spends, quote, hundreds if not thousands of dollars a year on public notices. Because the union is weekly, he said publishing notices that way also limits them on their time frame. He asked some questions on how the newspaper switching to a magazine format would affect deadlines. He also did not contact the union before putting this on the agenda. Legally, governments have no control over the format of newspapers, which are necessarily separate, usually private entities because they report on governments. Commissioner Richard Pinner expressed opposition to the idea, saying having a community newspaper is valuable and doing this would cut the knees off of the newspaper. A local furry friend is retiring from active duty in the Junction City Police Department. JCPD announced this week that K9 Barney is calling it quits after serving the citizens of Junction City for approximately 11 years. Barney has received multiple awards in his career from the Heart of America Police Dog Association, which includes numerous Narcotics Cases of the Year awards, Detector Dog awards, and a Patrol Dog award. He's responsible for getting thousands of pounds of marijuana, hundreds of pounds of cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine, fentanyl, and millions of dollars of drug money off the streets. These seizures have resulted in many years of prison time for the offenders. Barney came from the Code 2 Canine Services in Omaha, Nebraska, where he was born. His father, Rocky, was a police canine as well with the Douglas County Sheriff's Department, Nebraska, where he also had a stellar career. The JCPD invite locals to celebrate Barney's retirement on September 6th at 2 p.m. at the Junction City Police Department. Property and violent crime have dropped in Riley County so far this year, but police officials want to see it continue to decrease. Riley County Police Department Director Brian Pete on Thursday told the County Commission that property crime is down 11% from the 5-year average, while violent crime is down 10%.
Just because we're saved, we just don't stay satisfied with the numbers. I won't be satisfied until we're down 0 with everything we can. So when we have that opportunity to decrease crime, we do that.
Riley County's property and violent crime rates also decreased last year. Pete said the police department has been working on crime prevention initiatives, especially in the Aggieville area. Those include installing security cameras and keeping police officers on the scene, especially during Aggieville's busiest nights, by boosting its crime prevention strategy in cooperation with the Aggieville Business Association.
With the initiatives that we've been rolling into, especially within the Aggieville area, those include cameras. We will be out there, just again, maintaining safety and security, giving folks a very good feeling again that, hey, we're here to make sure that folks are having fun, enjoying themselves, and that they have nothing to worry about.
Pete said the move came in response to safety concerns in Aggieville some people have expressed in the past few years. More on the day's headlines can be found at our website, newsradiokman.com and themercury.com.
Gosta de estar por dentro das últimas novidades? Então o novo Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 é para você. O mais fino, leve e resistente. Abre até 3 apps na mesma tela. E tem assistente de notas para transcrever e resumir suas reuniões. Quer saber mais? Vá a uma loja ou acesse samsung.com.br. Galaxy Z Fold 6. Galaxy AI chegou.
Quer desenvolver os talentos da sua equipe e potencializar os resultados da sua empresa? Conte com a expertise do atendimento corporativo do Senac São Paulo. que já capacitou mais de 1 milhão de pessoas e profissionais de instituições públicas, privadas e terceiro setor. Construa uma equipe altamente motivada e capacitada e destaque-se no mercado. Entre em contato, acesse sp.senac.br/corporativo e saiba mais. Quer saber? Senac.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines as K-Man's Morning News continues. K-State football goes into the weekend now 2 weeks away from getting the season kicked off against UT Martin at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. One area drawing attention from the coaches down the final stretch, likely to be special teams.
We are wide open right now at punter. Tegan Cobb, Simon McClanahan. And Tegan are going to battle it out. Leighton Simmering's done a really good job as a kicker and gives us really good depth there and can probably kick some field goals. And we got to make sure and keep Chris fresh.
Cats coach Chris Kleiman alluding to Chris Tennant, who was honorable mention all Big 12 last season, having hit all but one extra point and finishing the year 11 of 14 on field goals. K-State and the Skyhawks are set for a kickoff on the 31st after 6. Coverage on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock will start at 2 that afternoon with Power Cat Game Day. Former K-State quarterback Will Howard has won the battle at Ohio State against Devin Brown. He'll be the starter when the number 2 Buckeyes open against Akron on the 31st. That per Ryan Day, the head coach at Ohio State. Howard transferred after starting 28 games over 4 seasons, including the Big 12 championship in 2022. He set K-State's school career record with 48 touchdown passes last season. Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the Chiefs starters are expected to play most of the first half of their preseason tilt against Detroit tomorrow, though it's possible Carson Wentz could see some snaps with the first-team offense as well.
We'll kind of fill in after that and just see how the rest of that goes for the third and fourth quarters.
Chiefs coach Andy Reid announcing that plan for the second preseason game yesterday, shortly after the defending Super Bowl champions wrapped up the final practice of their training camp at Missouri Western. Reid said right tackle Jawan Taylor, who would not play against the Lions after hurting his right shoulder in Thursday's practice, which means Lucas Nang will likely replace him. Also out will be Hollywood Brown after his injury on the first play of last Saturday's game at Jacksonville.
Obviously unfortunate. I guess we're lucky that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I know he's in good spirits. He's doing well. So just kind of getting him back going again, back moving around. Obviously we lose a little bit of that veteran type receiver in that room. I mean, we have other guys that can kind of replace a little bit, but to have that much talent, have a good understanding of what I want. But he's in the room. I think that's what's awesome. He's talking to those guys and everything like that. And so hopefully we're getting him back sooner rather than later. But we just got to keep pushing those young guys to keep getting better and better every day.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and his teammates will kick off after 3 against the Lions tomorrow. Coverage at 2 on News Radio KMAN. K-State soccer suffered a 2-1 loss in its season opener last night, falling at Boozer Family Park to Nevada. The Cats kept pressure on Wolfpack goalie Alyssa Sarlacki all night with 11 shots on goal, but only a marker by Jace Woodward got past her after they fell behind 2-0 just after halftime. K-State will visit Portland State and Gonzaga next weekend before an August 29th date with Green Bay at home. Michael Lorenzen makes his second start in a Royals jersey as the Royals visit Cincinnati for the first of 3 on the weekend. He'll be countered by Reds righty Nick Martinez in the 540 contest this evening. Coverage on News Radio KMAN will get underway at 5. For Lorenzen, it's a return to the city where he pitched for the first 7 seasons of his career. Minnesota Twins center fielder Byron Buxton was placed on the 10-day injured list Thursday, 3 days after exiting a game against the Royals because of inflammation in his right hip. The 30-year-old hitting .275 with 16 homers and 49 runs driven in 90 games. He had 7 homers in his last 55 at-bats before striking out in the 5th against Kansas City Monday night. The Twins did move to within 4 of division-leading Cleveland with a 3-2 win over Texas last evening. They maintain the 3rd spot in the wild-card chase in the AL, 2 up on Kansas City, while the Royals are 2.5 up on Boston for the final wild-card spot. The Sox lost to Baltimore last night. Also, Kansas City 3.5 up on Seattle after they fell to Detroit. Major League Commissioner Rob Manfred is reportedly pushing a plan that would mandate pitchers throw 6 innings every time they start. ESPN's Jesse Rogers reporting yesterday on a proposal that comes at a time that starters are pitching just over 5 innings per appearance, down from nearly 6 per start a decade ago. Mauricio Pochettino and the U.S. Soccer Federation are working toward a deal for him to be named the men's national team coach, a person familiar with the negotiations telling the AP. The former Tottenham, Chelsea, and Paris Saint-Germain coach has agreed to take over as the head coach for the U.S., but the deal is not complete. He would succeed Greg Berhalter less than 22 months before the Americans host the 2026 World Cup. Royals baseball on News Radio KMAN tonight as Kansas City opens that set against Cincinnati. Coverage at 5, first pitch just after 5:40. Chiefs football tomorrow afternoon with coverage at 2 on KMAN.